Brought to you by Powermouth Productions. Powermouth. Blessings to each and every one of you, Powermouths. I hope that you are doing really well. It's a pleasure to come on this episode number 17, yes, of Powermouth Speaking More Life. And I would just like to say greetings to all who regularly tune in, and greetings to those who may be new to this podcast. I'm here to speak real life, and I hope that it will bring some kind of satisfaction to your life as we speak about real topics that does affect us and that many may sweep under the carpet, but we're here to speak about them because we believe in speaking more life. And when you speak things out, you know what, when you talk about things, when you keep it real, you are able to deal with those very things in life that may be keeping a person bound, maybe keeping somebody from progressing forward. If you're able to identify it, then you're able to move on from it. Okay, so welcome. This is Powermouth Speaking More Life, and today's episode is called Always the Enemy. Yes, you heard it, always the enemy. So what do I mean by always the enemy? Okay, so have you ever felt, and some of you may identify with this, that in life, no matter what you do, you try your hardest to kind of accommodate people or just do your best to help other people, and whatever it is, you just try your best in life. You understand that as life can be, it can be hard, and so you do your very best to try to make it as plain sailing as it can be. But whatever you seem to do, whatever you seem to say to kind of help a situation, you may not even do anything at all, and yet you are still targeted, or you are still the person that is blamed for no apparent reason. If something goes wrong in another person's life, and I would say mainly family members' life, it could be a family member's life, those that are close to, that you most probably live with, in close proximity to, close relation to, shall I say. And if things go wrong in their life, then you are the one that seems to get the blame. It could be your children. Things go wrong in their life, then guess what? Mum or dad is to blame. Where can this possibly come from? Because I'm sure that the person that is getting blamed is actually sitting down and wondering, why am I the one that's being blamed? I was nowhere near the situation. I didn't say anything. In fact, I didn't even know anything about the situation, but yet I am being blamed for it. So, the person that's been blamed, they have questions of their own. So where can this possibly come from? Well, I believe that it runs deep. It can't be something just possibly that, somebody would come and say, I blame you. Who does that? If something takes place in my life, I'm not going to go to one of my relatives, like my auntie or my uncle or my brothers and sisters, and say, you know what, it's your fault that this took place. So that's why I believe it runs deep, because I believe that if somebody can come and accuse another person of, making things basically go wrong in their lives, then they have some kind of feeling towards this person. And so that's why I say it runs deep, because sometimes unknown to the person that is being blamed, they really don't know what's going on. Now, when somebody accuses somebody, it could be a number of reasons. It could be a one-off reason that happened years ago, like, yeah, years ago, that they've never even got over. So it could also be jealousy, it could be envy. And when it comes down to that, not everybody knows if somebody is harboring feelings towards them because they have this deep inner jealousy or they're envying their lives, you know. So, but still, yet still, they are still to blame, you know. So if things aren't going right in that person's life, and, you know, that person is looking at the alleged enemy, you know, looking at their life, and it appears to them as though everything is going right, then, you know, they will get the blame. They will get the blame. They will see them as the person to dislike or to blame for all the possible failures that may be occurring in their life. And it is such a sad thing when that takes place. So I believe that there has to be some form of accountability. And often when somebody blames another person for the wrongs or the things that aren't going right in their life, they do not hold themselves accountable for anything. And that is something that needs to take place, because, you know, can you imagine if we all went around blaming another person for the things that have happened in our life? Now, I'm not saying that in life things don't happen where somebody else is to blame. Listen, I've had things in my life where I can easily point the finger and say, you know what, because of this situation, this is how kind of thing, how things kind of, you know, panned out for me or whatever. But then I had to take accountability for myself, because at the end of the day, you know, that person may have been going through something themselves, and at the end of the day, when I get to a certain age and I get certain wisdom and knowledge, you know, then, you know, I'm able to kind of maneuver and turn my life around in a way where I'm not always forever blaming that person, but I can actually look at the situation and take, you know, life lessons from it and move on. And I never want to be stuck in a place where I'm continuously blaming somebody for something that happened in my life, you know. And I pray that they will take accountability for their actions. But again, for me, it's all about progress, it's all about moving on. So I kind of just don't want to be the victim in their hands. I kind of want to just move forward, you know, as the victor that I am, that I was created to be. Now, obviously, with all of that said, healing needs to take place. If somebody has been hurt by somebody, they need to be healed in that place. And so this is where all of that blame comes in, because there has been no healing. So if they have been hurt by the hands of this person, by the actions of this person, the words of this person, and they've never healed, then they are still kind of living in that kind of situation. They're still living in that episode. And so therefore, whatever takes place currently in their life, it will always draw them back to that moment that that person allegedly has hurt them, you know. It's quite a tricky, it's quite a tricky thing. And sometimes even the person that is being blamed, you know, there's no, that they don't deserve to be, they don't deserve to be blamed, because they really haven't done anything. But it's through the eyes of the person that is blaming them, you know, for whatever reasons they may have. They're blaming that person, and like I said, it could be an issue of jealousy, you know. And the person that they're blaming, they have no idea what this person is going through, but yet they're still getting blamed. So how does one really deal with that? This is such a common occurrence within families as well. It could even be a thing of, like, okay, so we take siblings for an example, and one of the siblings may feel that they weren't as loved as the other siblings, you know. And so that can create something as well. So whatever goes on in their life, and if they deem it as a failure, which it might not even be a failure, but they may see it that way, then they may pass off the blame onto the other sibling, at sibling rivalry. In fact, I am going to be speaking about that soon. That's a title of one of my episodes, sibling rivalry, because I believe that that is a big thing, that takes place, that's been taking place for generations, and I think it will continue to take place. But I just feel like there's a sadness in that sibling rivalry as well, because I believe that when God places families together, it's to work together and unite together. So I just believe that kind of any kind of gap that the enemy can kind of come into to kind of disturb that pattern of unity, then he will do so. And often it is, to do with siblings. But like I said, that's a different episode, and I will definitely be bringing that one out. Refocusing on this one, when it comes to someone always being the enemy no matter what. And you know what? When it comes to parents, I'm sure a lot of parents will put up their hands, like, especially if they're dealing with children and disciplining as well. I'm sure a lot of parents will put up their hands and say, you know what, I feel like I'm always the enemy. I'm just trying to look after my child. I'm trying to discipline them. I'm giving boundaries, and it's for their safety. It's because I love them. And yet I feel like all the rights of being a parent is being taken away, because I'm saying one thing to my child, and then the outside world is saying another thing to my child. And guess which way my child is steering to? They're steering to the world. And they're not looking to me. And my love is greater for them than the love of the world for them, and that's another difficult situation. And when you discipline your child, they will look at you as though you are the enemy. You are the biggest enemy, when you're not the enemy. Next to the lover of their soul, which is Jesus, okay, you love them so much, and you just want to see the best for them as well. But I think that many parents go through that. I think that is a normal thing. I think that is a usual thing. I know growing up, I may have even thought that of my mother when she disciplined me, like, but I can say this now as an adult, and especially when I started having my own children, I appreciated my mum. I still do appreciate my mum today for the discipline that she gave to me, and I would never want to grow up without the discipline that my mother gave to me. In fact, sometimes I say, I wish that mum had disciplined me a little bit more. People may be gasping, thinking, what? But I'm telling you, there's nothing like loving discipline, because it helps to save you from certain things, seriously. And it might not be understood at that time, but as you get older, as you get wiser, as you become into the knowing of yourself and the things of the world, you start to realize, like, wow, like, I gave my parents a hard time, and I thought they were giving me a hard time, but they really truly was looking out for me. So even now, let me just do a shout out to my mom, who does listen to my podcast. Thank you, Mummy. Blessings to you. Love you. Thank you for the discipline and everything. Thank you for doing all that you could, even in the hard times. And I love you. Okay, so let's get off this emotional spin here and continue on with this. So yeah, so with parents, I believe that it's a natural thing to go through with your children. And as much as it isn't nice, going through it, that your child thinks that you're the enemy, I think that deep down your children, and I hope that they do know that you love them, that we love them as parents, even if we annoy them. Okay. And yeah, children, if you are listening to this podcast, you can be annoying to us too. Okay, just putting it out there, but we love you. Right. I think that when it comes to, like, other people, and includes like siblings or like other family members, or maybe even friends as well, depending on how close you are, when things go on in their life and yet you are to blame. I think that that is the kind of like, what, like, really, like, seriously, like, I don't even really speak to you that often, or haven't seen in a while. We haven't had a phone call for a while, and yet I am to blame. I don't know the situation. I don't know the A, B, C's, and all the, stuff that is entwined in your kind of situation to be getting the blame, but yet you still are the one that is blamed for what's going on. So, it goes back to, how does that person really feel about you? For them to be making an allegation such as you're to blame for the things that's going wrong in their lives. I feel like there will need to be a real talk that needs to happen, especially if this like is a continuous thing. I mean, just hearing it once could throw you off, but when it keeps continuously and like you have nothing to do with it, I feel like there needs to be a heart to heart talk, because there's some confusion somewhere in it. First of all, the person that's been blamed is confused, and I believe that maybe the person that is accusing is confused too. So just to kind of like, make things in plain view and understandable, a talk definitely needs to really happen as to why I'm continuously being the one that's blamed for your life events. This can actually be looked at as a type of bullying as well, because when you think about it, I'm sure there are people that have been through this kind of situation, whether they've been at school, they may have experienced this, and no matter what, the teacher has blamed them for whatever has taken place. They weren't even near it, whatever, but the teacher refuses to believe that anybody else could possibly do it. And, because maybe that student had done something in the past. Maybe not. Maybe the teacher just hasn't taken to that child, because let's face it now. Let's not beat around the bush, okay? There are some teachers that outright do not like some students just because they just do not like them. They just don't take to them. Can I just keep it real here? Okay, can I keep it all the way 100% real? To you teachers, you are doing a fantastic job out there. I'm sure you are. But I'm letting you know, I'm telling you, okay, and I hope I'm not sounding like a bully, but I know that amongst some of the teachers, there are some that will look at a child and instantly say, you know what, I'm not feeling that child, and so therefore if anything takes place, that child will get the blame. And again, it's deep, because it can go back to, I don't know, whatever has even taken place in that teacher's life beforehand. This child might remind them of a child from their childhood. Who knows? There's always something to do with something. Okay? There's always something to do with something that creates something. Okay? And I believe that, yeah, that does happen as well. So it is a form of bullying. Okay, so I've mentioned a few scenarios, in regards to somebody who always seems to be the enemy, always the enemy. I've talked about the parent and child situation, the sibling situation, family member situation, even the teacher and the pupil situation, or whatever. I've talked about that. And so, what can be done? What can possibly be done about being accused when you believe that you have nothing to do with whatever's going on in another person's life. Well, I believe, number one, a conversation has to take place, because I feel like the conversation is what's going to unearth the real reason. And just by speaking to that person, you're going to get what they're saying. You will pick up on certain things. So if it is a past issue that they've never got over, maybe then in that conversation it can be dealt with. If it is a thing of jealousy or envy, then I don't know if much can be done about that, because at the end of the day, in this life, you are going to get people that will hate on you, that will dislike you, that will accuse you, because there's a level of jealousy on their behalf towards you. And so therefore, what can you do? And I would say, like, when it comes to that, there's nothing that you can do, because I'm not going to say to a person who is going through that to dumb your life down, or to play your life down in terms of like not progress. Come on now. Speaking More Life, Power Mouth Speaker More Life is all about encouraging you to progress. So I'm not going to be here to say, well, make your life look more plain and simple. Don't do certain things. I mean, I'm not saying to you to go rub stuff into their face, but I'm saying, like, if that is the natural course of your life, like things are happening and it's kind of like in people's faces, like you can't hide it, there's nothing you can do about it. If you are one that has overcome certain stuff in your life, and that's the very thing that they are jealous of, or they are envying you about, because they may be stuck in that same position or a different position, limited position, I say go ahead and do your thing. You know what, do your thing. Go ahead and do what you need to do. Do not let nobody stop you. At the end of the day, you know what I will say? I will say pray for them. Pray for them. Hope that they will get past all of that, that they will get the healing that they need to progress on, and that they in turn will, experience further greatness in their lives that they are capable of doing. But don't ever stop what you are doing. Hear me out today. Do not stop what you are doing. Okay, because their emotions, to take on their emotions and make that stop you from progressing, what is that? What is that? Come on. Nobody should have you in a stronghold like that. Nobody. Okay, if you may have even had difficulties and things happening because of your emotions, your own emotions, that stopped you, and now you're gonna let somebody else oppress you by their emotions. It can't work. It really can not work, not in my eyes anyway. For anybody who is able to do so and allow that to happen, then I was going to say no. I do not even take my hat off to you. I just say why. Okay, because at the end of the day, we all have to live our lives, and you have to realize as well, by us making progress and getting on further in life, it actually encourages others. Hopefully will encourage that person that's always accusing you. If it doesn't, I know that you are encouraging somebody else. So please do not stop where you are at because you feel guilty or you feel bad that they're in that place. Like I said, pray for them. Prayer will work much more. Okay, much more, because I'm telling you, maybe even if you try to help them, like physically try to help them, you're still going to get the blame, because you're getting the blame when you're far away from them and you're not even doing anything anyway. So maybe it's just better just to stay where you are, a distance away from them, meaning, but you're still progressing. Okay, all right, always continue to progress in life. Some of these things can be distractions as well. It can really be distractions. And I feel for anybody who is in a place or in an emotional state where well, to me, they're tied up to where they have to accuse other people of things that's going on in their lives. And I just pray that they will get past that, that they will break through that, that they will accomplish great things in life, that they will get joy in their spirit, get joy in their soul, just be happy, past happiness, just have joy. Just have joy within them, that they don't have to look and to blame other people. It's like I said, it's deep. I mean, I could probably have another conversation about this, but I'm not. Apart from just encouraging those who feel like they are always the enemy, that there is nothing that you can really do about it, except for just continue to progress on and pray. Just pray for that person, pray and hope that they will come out of whatever they're in, and just realize that, what, even if you are deemed as their enemy, and they were to one day miraculously stop treating you as the enemy, there are still many more out there. Not to put a doom and a gloom on this, but what I'm saying is that many of us have enemies out there and we don't even know about. So, you still need to continue on, you still need to carry on with life. So I'm just encouraging each and every person that, always do the right thing in life. Parents, continue to discipline your children, do the right things in life. Yes, you may seem like the enemy, but I bet you anything they're going to turn around and they're going to thank you for it one day. And for those of you who are blamed and you don't know why you're blamed, it could be by a close relation. I hope that you get to the bottom of it, that you can have a meaningful conversation, and healing will take place as well in that. That's my hope, that's my wish, that's my prayer for each and every person. But I will say, until then, and even if that side of things doesn't get sorted out, unfortunately doesn't get sorted out, please do not stop what you're doing. Still continue to progress. Use the gifts that God has placed within you, the talents that you have been given, and do what you need to do, what you are called to do, in Jesus' name. Okay, so blessings to each and every one of you. Until the next time, please do tune into Power Mouth Speaking More Life, because I love speaking to you guys, and I pray and I hope that you love to join me as well as I delve into these real life conversations. So on that note, I will just say God bless. Until the next time, this is your personal life speaker, Glena Oyiadjo, checking in with you, and next time, take care. Proverbs 18:21 talks about the power of the tongue. You can choose which way to go, but remember, what you live is what you sow.